Here's the cold truth. When society collapses, it won't be the loudest or the strongest who survive. It'll be the ones who planned in silence. Because when SHTF, desperation turns neighbors into scavengers, and every ounce of food, ammo, and medicine becomes a target. The real pros know that prepping isn't just about what you stock. It's about where you hide it. This isn't paranoia, it's preparation. History's full of examples where chaos stripped people of everything overnight, from economic crashes to martial law, and when that day comes again, open shelves and unlocked garages won't cut it. You need smart stashes, hidden caches, and decoy spots no one will think to search. That's why today we're breaking down the 15 must-have items every prepper should hide before SHTF. From barter gold and backup weapons to food that'll outlast the panic. We'll talk what to hide, where to stash it, and why secrecy might just be your greatest survival skill. Let's dig in. Number 1. Backup firearms and ammunition. Here's the brutal truth. When society cracks, your biggest threat isn't the disaster. It's desperate people, and they're not coming to shake your hand. They're coming for your supplies. That's why your main gun safe? Useless. It's the first thing raiders check. Real preppers know you never keep all your firepower in one spot. Why it matters when law and order vanish, protection becomes priority number 1. A hidden firearm, one no one knows exists, can mean the difference between being a target or staying in control. Think of it as your insurance policy when everything else fails. How it helps. A backup weapon gives you options. A compact pistol in the basement wall, a rifle sealed under your shed, or even a small revolver in a fake vent. And let's not forget ammo. It's not just firepower, it's currency. When the shelves go empty, a few boxes of 9mm rounds could buy you food, medicine, or gas. Storage tip. Wrap your gun and ammo in oil-soaked rags or vacuum-sealed bags to fight corrosion. Slide the bundle into a PVC pipe with caps on both ends and bury it at least 2 to 3 feet deep. Mark the spot with something subtle, like a fake rock or an old tire, something only you would notice. Price punchline. A decent budget pistol runs around $300 to $500, and a box of 50 rounds of ammo sits near $25 to $40. But here's the kicker. Ammo prices jumped over 20% last year, and they're not slowing down. Stock it, hide it, and forget it, until the day you'll wish you had more. But this next item? You can't shoot it, but it can buy you just about anything when the grid collapses, and most people are hiding it wrong. Number 2. Cash and precious metals. When the banks freeze and card readers go dark, trust vanishes overnight. Cash becomes instant power, and gold and silver turn into survival currency. In a crisis, it's not about your credit score or digital balance, it's about what you can hold. A few $100 in small bills can buy food, gas, or a safe ride out of town, while a single silver coin might trade for medicine when no one else can pay. Physical money still talks when systems fail. That's why real preppers never keep their cash or metals in one place. You're safe? Too obvious, the first place thieves will look. Instead, split it up. Hide small rolls of bills in decoy jars, hollowed out books, or fake vents. Vacuum seal gold or silver coins in Mylar with a desiccant pack, then seal them inside waterproof ammo cans or PVC pipes. Bury them 2 feet deep and mark the spot with something natural, a rock, a tree root, or an old tire that doesn't move. The goal isn't just to hide it, it's to make it forgettable to everyone but you. A roll of quarters might seem like pocket change, but in a collapse, it becomes trade gold. And actual gold? That's real power. A single ounce of gold is hovering around $3,600, and silver sitting near $45 to $50 an ounce, both climbing fast as global markets keep shaking. Prices jumped double digits last year, and analysts expect another surge. Translation, every week you wait, you're buying less value with more cash. So stock small, hide smart, and lock in before inflation eats your options. This next one? It's not shiny, but when the grid collapses, it becomes liquid gold, and most people are storing it wrong. Number 3. Food caches, canned and dehydrated. When the shelves go empty and panic sets in, food becomes the new gold, and your pantry turns into a flashing, "come rob me" sign. It's harsh, but true. In a real collapse, hungry people stop asking nicely. That's why pros never keep all their supplies in one place. You don't just store food, strategically hide it. Think attic corners, false walls, under staircases, or even buried barrels in the yard. If someone finds one stash, they'll assume that's all you've got. while the real reserves stay untouched. The beauty of canned and dehydrated food is shelf life. Canned goods can last 5 to 10 years if kept cool and dry. Dehydrated or freeze-dried meals, you're looking at 20 to 30 years easy. They're light, compact, and nutrient-dense, the perfect backup when regular supplies vanish. Rotate your stock every 6 months, keep the labels clean, and store in airtight containers to block rodents and moisture. A few Mylar bags, some oxygen absorbers, and plastic totes can make your food stash practically immortal. And here's the kicker. You can still build your food reserves on a budget. Bulk rice, beans, oats, and lentils can still be found for under $1 per pound, but that price is climbing fast. Food inflation has spiked over 15% in some regions in just the past year, and it's not slowing down. That means every dollar you spend on storage food today is worth double tomorrow. So hide smart. Split your food supply into 2 or 3 hidden caches, one inside, one off-site, and one buried for emergencies. If someone raids one, you're still covered, because the only thing worse than being hungry in a collapse is knowing you had food and someone else is eating it. And speaking of survival essentials, the next item isn't edible, but it can turn dirty water into life. Most people overlook it until it's too late. Number 4, water filtration gear. You can survive weeks without food, but only a few days without clean water. And when the taps run dry or the grid shuts down, bottled water disappears faster than you can blink. That's why clean water isn't just a necessity, it's survival currency. Having the means to purify your own water puts you a step above almost everyone else, and it's one of the smartest things to hide before SHTF. Because here's the thing, once the chaos starts, people will ransack everything that even looks like it can hold water. If your main stash gets taken, a hidden backup filter could literally save your life. The good news? You don't need to break the bank to get covered. Portable filters like Life Straw and Sawyer Mini run under $30, and each one can clean up to 100,000 gallons if maintained right. Water purification tablets, about 50 cents a dose, and they can neutralize viruses and bacteria in minutes. Prices for this kind of gear have quietly jumped over 10% this past year, and they'll only go higher as supply chains tighten. So now's the time to stock and stash. Here's the move. Hide a few filters and tablet packs away from your main storage. One in a bug-out bag, one in your car, and one buried in a waterproof container near your secondary shelter. Wrap each in plastic or Mylar to prevent moisture damage. And don't just think about lakes or rivers. After a disaster, even rain barrels, wells, or puddles can be potential water sources if you've got the right gear. Because in a world where people will kill for a sip, the person who can make clean water becomes untouchable. And speaking of life-saving tools, the next item can keep you alive long after medicine runs out. And it's one most preppers forget to double. Number 5, medical supplies and antibiotics. When hospitals close and pharmacies get looted, medicine becomes the new gold, and the people holding it become instant targets. Painkillers, antiseptics, bandages, antibiotics, these aren't just supplies, they're lifelines. In a full-blown collapse, even a small wound can turn fatal without proper care. That's why preppers know the golden rule. One first aid kit for show, one for survival. Keep a small decoy kit somewhere visible, bandages, gauze, maybe a few aspirin, and hide your real medical stock deep, where no one will think to look. Why it matters? Because in a grid-down world, hospitals won't answer, ambulances won't come, and infections don't wait. Having antibiotics on hand, even basic ones like amoxicillin or doxycycline, can mean the difference between recovery and disaster. Add painkillers, antihistamines, antiseptic wipes, sutures, and burn cream to your list. Even items like alcohol wipes and hydrogen peroxide become priceless when shelves stay empty. Storage tip. Keep your meds cool, dry, and in airtight containers. Vacuum seal them with desiccant packs to slow down degradation. Store duplicates in different locations, one inside your home, one buried in a waterproof box, maybe another stashed in your vehicle's hidden compartment. Rotate every 6 to 12 months, especially with antibiotics and topical ointments. As for cost, here's the reality check. A basic first aid kit used to run around $25 to $30, but prices jumped nearly 20% in the last year. Even fish antibiotics, once a cheap backup source, have skyrocketed. And when a real crisis hits, you won't be able to find any of it at any price. So stock now, hide smart, and treat your supplies like treasure, because that's exactly what they'll become. And if you think medicine's valuable, wait till you hear about the next one. It's the kind of resource that powers everything else you own, and it's vanishing fast. Number 6, fuel and propane tanks. When the grid dies, fuel becomes king, and the kingdom falls fast. The moment panic hits, gas stations will either run dry or shut down completely. No power means no pumps, and no pumps means no fuel for generators, vehicles, or heating. That's why having your own hidden fuel reserve isn't a luxury. It's survival strategy. And trust me, if your neighbors catch wind, you've got gas when no one else does, you'll have a crowd on your doorstep before nightfall. So rule number 1, stock quietly, hide smart. Gasoline and diesel are your lifelines for mobility and power. Propane keeps your stove burning and your lights on when everything else goes dark. But here's the catch. You can't just pile up jerry cans in your garage and call it a day. Heat, moisture, and oxygen all work against you. Instead, use approved metal or HDPE fuel cans with tight seals, store them in a cool, shaded, well-ventilated area, and stabilize the gas every few months to extend its life. Propane's even better. A sealed tank can last decades without degrading. Rotate your fuel supply twice a year, label every container, and make sure it's off-site if possible, a shed, a disguised pit, or a remote outbuilding covered with debris or foliage. Here's the financial reality. Fuel prices swing like crazy, and they're not getting cheaper. In the past year alone, gasoline's up over 12%, and propane's jumped nearly 15% in some regions. A single 20-pound propane tank that cost $40 last year, now it's pushing $50 and climbing. When the next shortage hits, those tanks will be worth more than gold bars. So fill up now while it's still quiet, because when the lights go out, the engines stop and the cold sets in. The person with hidden fuel isn't just surviving, they're running the show. And speaking of running, the next item keeps your tools and your survival plan running long after the power grid flatlines. Number 7, tools and repair kits. Here's the thing. When everything breaks, it's not going to be Amazon Prime that saves you. It's going to be a wrench, a hammer, or a multi-tool in the right hands. A solid toolkit can rebuild a shelter, repair a generator, fix a busted water pump, or fortify your home. And in a world gone dark, that kind of skill makes you priceless. But if you think your shiny garage tool chest is safe, think again. Once people realize how valuable tools are, they'll strip every shed and workshop in sight. That's why smart preppers stash duplicates and hide them well. Manual tools are your best friends when the power grid dies. Forget electric drills and saws. Go old school. Hammers, screwdrivers, wrenches, hatchets, crowbars, handsaws, and multi-tools. All of them can run forever without a single watt of electricity. Keep a compact repair kit in your main stash, but bury or hide backups off-site, under a deck, inside a hollow log, or behind a false wall. Oil your metal tools to prevent rust, and store them in sealed containers or wrapped in oiled cloth to keep out moisture. Price-wise, tools are still one of the few survival investments that give serious bang for your buck. A decent multi-tool runs about $40 to $60, and a solid hand tool set can be built for under $200. But here's your warning. Steel prices have jumped 10 to 15% over the past year, and those costs are rolling into tool prices fast. Expect to pay more next season, especially for anything made in bulk overseas. Bottom line, when everyone else is helpless, the person who can fix things runs the camp. So stash your spares, keep them oiled, and never underestimate what a simple wrench can do when the world falls apart. And speaking of rebuilding, the next item might look harmless, but it's the real key to rebuilding civilization from the ground up. Number 8, seeds, heirloom varieties. When the shelves stay empty and food trucks stop rolling, there's only one way to eat long-term. Grow it yourself. And that's why seeds, especially heirloom varieties, are pure freedom in a paper packet. Forget the canned goods and MRE or ES for a minute. They'll run out eventually. But a single bag of heirloom seeds? That's a renewable food source that can feed you for years. These are the seeds that keep their genetics, meaning you can replant season after season without relying on corporate supply chains. When everyone else is scavenging for scraps, you'll be harvesting your own calories. But here's the kicker. Seeds are fragile. Heat, moisture, and light can kill their viability fast. So storage is everything. Keep your seed packets sealed in Mylar or Ziploc bags with a desiccant pack and stash them in a cool, dark place, a basement, cellar, or even inside a buried container. If you're serious, create multiple caches. one near your garden and another hidden off-site, just in case. And don't just buy the basics. Stock a mix: protein-packed beans, calorie-heavy potatoes and corn, fast growers like lettuce and spinach, and high-nutrient crops like kale and carrots. Here's the value kicker: a full heirloom seed kit that can grow enough food for a small family still costs under $50, but prices have already jumped over 12% in the past year thanks to crop shortages and global demand. When panic buying hits, these packets will vanish faster than toilet paper in 2020. So buy now, hide smart, and label quietly. Even a nosy neighbor shouldn't know what's in that tin box on your shelf, because when the supermarkets go dark, the man with the seeds doesn't just survive, he owns the future. And speaking of control, this next item gives you power in another form, the kind that lets you reach people when the rest of the world goes silent. Number 9, communication gear, ham radios, walkie-talkies. When the grid goes dark and cell towers stop buzzing, communication becomes the new form of control. Think about it. Information is power. Knowing what's happening beyond your street, where help might be, or where danger's headed, can mean the difference between safety and walking straight into chaos. That's why serious preppers never rely solely on phones or the internet. They go analog, with ham radios, shortwave receivers, and long-range walkie-talkies that work when everything else is fried. A simple hand crank or battery-powered ham radio can pick up emergency frequencies, government broadcasts, or even other survivors coordinating supplies. Walkie-talkies let your team stay connected during supply runs or watch rotations without shouting across a valley. When everyone else is blind and deaf, you'll have ears on the world. And that's real leverage. Here's where it gets tricky. An EMP or major solar flare can knock out most electronics instantly. That's why wrapping your gear in aluminum foil or storing it in a Faraday bag or metal ammo isn't paranoia. It's insurance. It blocks electromagnetic pulses and keeps your radios alive when everything else fries. Keep one active set nearby and stash another backup in a hidden location: attic rafters, buried container, or even under your vehicle's floor mat. Cost-wise, communication gear is still within reach. A solid Baofeng ham radio goes for $40 to $70, while professional grade sets run a few hundred. Walkie-talkie pairs hover around $30 to $50, but here's the warning. Supply chain delays and military demand have already pushed prices up 10 to 15% in the past year. Once panic hits, they'll disappear faster than batteries in a blackout. So stock them, wrap them, and hide them. Because when the silence hits, the one with a signal isn't just surviving, they're leading. And speaking of navigation and leadership, the next item makes sure you never lose your way, even when the satellites do. Number 10, maps and navigation tools. When satellites go dark and GPS turns into a useless screen, you'll realize how lost most people really are. When tech fails, old-school navigation becomes survival. Maps, compasses, and topographic charts aren't outdated. They're your lifeline. Paper maps don't glitch, die, or need Wi-Fi. You need detailed maps of your area, nearby cities, water sources, and escape routes, and you better know how to read them. Learn contour lines, mark caches, and plan multiple routes. A simple compass can guide you through forests or miles of open land when everything looks the same. Hide your maps like cash, sealed, dry, and close at hand. Keep one in your car, bug-out bag, and hidden at home, with backups elsewhere. Best part? They're cheap. $20 for a compass, $50 for solid regional maps. But prices and print supplies are tightening fast, because when the grid goes down, the one with the map becomes the one in charge. And speaking of direction, the next essential keeps your spark alive when the lights go out. Number 11, fire starters and fuel tablets. When the temperature drops and darkness takes over, fire isn't just warmth, it's survival, morale, and defense. Yet most people trust a single lighter like it's immortal. It's not. Lighters break, fuel leaks, and matches get soggy fast. That's why fire starting gear deserves backup and a secret stash. Go for redundancy: ferro rods, waterproof matches, magnesium blocks, lighters, and fuel tablets. Ferro rods work wet, cold, and forever. Fuel tablets burn clean and fast, perfect for boiling water or cooking indoors. Store everything airtight and dry. One kit in your bug-out bag, one in your car, one hidden at home. They're cheap, light, and easy to conceal. Ferro rods run under $15, matches cost cents, and fuel tablets less than $10, but prices are climbing fast. Because when you're cold, hungry, and desperate, one hidden spark can save your life. And speaking of warmth, the next essential protects more than comfort. It protects you. Number 12, clothing and footwear. Most people don't realize how fast clothes wear out when survival becomes daily life. Without laundry machines or new supplies, a torn jacket or busted boot isn't just annoying, it's dangerous. When the cold hits or you're traveling on foot, good clothing and footwear can mean the difference between moving and breaking down. That's why durable, weatherproof gear isn't luxury, it's strategy. Think function over fashion. Tough boots, wool socks, thermal layers, gloves, and a waterproof jacket. Once society collapses, replacements, especially in your size, will be impossible to find. Store extras in sealed bags or containers to protect from moisture and pests. Keep one full outfit in your vehicle and another hidden near your escape route or bug-out spot. If your main gear's lost or looted, you'll still have a lifeline. Right now, solid boots run under $80, gloves around $20, and waterproof jackets near $50. But with outdoor gear prices rising 10 to 15% yearly, that won't last. Because here's the truth. If your feet fail, so do you. Stash your backup gear now and stay ready for whatever's next. And speaking of protection, the next item on this list keeps you safe when danger gets up close. 13. Barter goods. When the dollar dies, the real economy runs on need, not numbers. Once shelves are bare and banks go silent, things like cigarettes, liquor, batteries, coffee, and soap become survival currency. Forget cash and crypto. The barter game runs on comfort, addiction, and utility. Smart preppers stash small, high-demand goods people will crave when normal life collapses. Cigarettes and liquor lift morale, coffee fuels energy, and hygiene items turn into gold. Even cheap batteries will trade like silver once the lights go out. Hide your barter stash in multiple secret spots. Decoys up front, real stock deep. If someone raids you, they'll think they've won while your true wealth stays hidden. Right now, these items are dirt cheap, but when crisis hits, expect prices to triple. Bartering isn't just trade, it's power, leverage, and survival. And speaking of power, the next item literally keeps your world running when the grid dies. 14. Survival manuals and printed guides. When the internet dies, so does Google, and every bit of knowledge you didn't memorize vanishes with it. No YouTube tutorials, no quick fixes, just you, the problem, and what you know. That's why printed survival manuals aren't a luxury. They're lifelines. Stock up on guides for first aid, foraging, off-grid living, weapon care, and repairs. Old-school field manuals, Boy Scout books, and tool guides beat flashy coffee table survival books every time. Print or laminate key pages. Once the grid's gone, those pages become gold. Most of this info is dirt cheap right now. Printouts for under $10 or used manuals for $5 to $15. But when the net goes dark, that knowledge disappears, and prices will skyrocket overnight. Seal your books in plastic sleeves or waterproof cans, stash duplicates near your bug-out site, and throw in silica gel packs to keep them dry. Because when the world forgets how to function, the one who remembers survives. 15. Personal documents and IDs. When society collapses, identity becomes your last defense. Passports, deeds, and birth certificates aren't just papers, they're proof of who you are when order returns. Without them, you're a ghost with no claim or leverage. Make copies, physical and digital. Seal originals in waterproof sleeves or fireproof pouches. Stash encrypted backups on a flash drive wrapped in foil for EMP protection, and never keep them all in one place. A fireproof pouch is about $20, so their value after SHTF? Priceless. The ones who can prove ownership or identity will rebuild while others vanish into the chaos. Hide them smart, keep them dry, and stay quiet. Because real survival isn't just about living, it's about still being someone when the dust settles. When SHTF, survival favors the ones who planned ahead, not the ones who panicked. Those 15 hidden items aren't just supplies, they're insurance against chaos. Prepping isn't fear, it's foresight. What you hide today could save you tomorrow. Drop a comment with the one item you never leave in plain sight and hit subscribe, because next we're exposing the top 10 secret hiding spots preppers swear by. Stay ready, stay quiet, stay alive.